Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine, and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. If you're new here, this is my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from day one all the way through to now, just over 2 years of knitting. And it's been my place to connect with knitters, which has been a very special journey for me. So today I'm going to pour myself a drink. I always recommend having a drink on hand, or some knitting. I have been letting this brew. It is a blend of olive leaf, lemon verbena, licorice root, nettle. I think that's everything. Yeah, it's a blend that I've been drinking for quite some time. Without going in too much, I have had a little bit of a journey with a chronic illness, and if I'm feeling a little bit tired and like I've maybe overexerted myself in any way. Oh, hello Audrey. Audrey is in-house kitten who is exploring the tripod setup today, so hopefully she doesn't get too excited by that. But it seems to be a blend that helps me to feel a little bit lifted when I need a little bit of extra support. Oh, hi honey. Do you want to come sit up here? So yeah, I'm actually wearing a hand knit today, and this is my first ever jumper, and I'm so pleased in a strange way that it's cold enough to be wearing it again. This was... Let's see if... Are you going to sit on your seat, honey? Are you going to come say hi? In case you haven't seen her, this is little Audrey, but she's probably not that fussed about being up here. She doesn't do unwanted cuddles, but you don't do that, and I'm all for that. She's like, But this was the first ever jumper I made. This is a pattern by Katie Green. I was going to call it Katie Bean Green, but she's Katie Green of the Green Bean podcast, and obviously gorgeous designs. This was from when she was working with Blacker Yarns. She's now freelance again, which is amazing. But this obviously has a special place in my heart, and this is knitted in a yarn that is discontinued, I believe, but it was called Blacker Tour, and it was a 92% wool with 8% alpaca, I believe, blend. And it's lasted really well, and that is something that I'm going to get round to doing very soon. I just don't think it's appropriate for me to be putting out more than one a week, and it's been quite exciting around here with, you know, a wedding and mohair goats. So I will do an episode where I talk about my year one jumper projects, and how they've held up and how the yarn's worn and, you know, wearability. I think it's quite interesting, and hopefully it'll inspire you to either reflect the same or maybe inspire you to knit, you know, and try a different yarn or a different designer. So that's everything for now, I think. At the end of this episode, I would like to put in or share some footage of our last trip to Knepp. I don't think there's too much, so this might be a short and sweet episode, but you all know already, and I will know by the time I put this out, which is always strange to think about. But yeah, hopefully it should be nice. So I honestly don't have too much to share, and I guess, and I don't like keeping secrets, but it's not a secret, but I have a bigger picture project that I've already started working on, but I'm still trying to get my thoughts together and how best to share it. And I think what I will do is more my projects like this will be on one week, and then on the alternate week will be this bigger project, but they all can't connect. It is just knitting, but I've been quite excited about it, and those projects for now I would like to continue doing a bit more research on. Yeah, So this is shorter because of that, if that makes sense. Yeah, like I said, secrets aren't my thing, but there's something that I'm working on, and I just need to figure out how best to sort of, because I'm really excited about it, and I know that my articulation with words is not the greatest, but so I need to almost write a step by step of what that journey's going to look like, and yeah, I'm quite excited. Anyway, so I'll just share this one first. This was a pattern that was a gift to me, which is very sweet, thank you, Anna. And now I thought I grafted it terribly, but I actually don't think I did such a bad job after all. I think this is the graft. So this is the Pages of Wands Mal Mystery Knit Along. And it is very cool. I did only do the first 3 and a bit clues, I think. This is fun. And I won't put it on just because I've got sticks in my hair, and although they're not going anywhere, I know what I'm like, and I'll end up being even more chaotic to look at than I already am. But yeah, Audrey is a very talented designer. She is also known as Yarn Flakes, is currently releasing so many beautiful patterns. I think she's got a jumper coming out Sunday that reminds me of, if this might be a little bit critical role-y today, kind of, I don't know, Ukatoa's eyes might just be me, but yeah, it's a very, very pretty yoke pattern. And anyway, this was knit in mostly Drops Nord. I'm sort of heading away from that, but I do have some drops, and I will use every last bit because it is wool and I'm about wool. And then I've got a few little bits of my own hand dyed in there, and some Cascade 220, I believe, from a project that I ripped out. And the colours I chose were based on the character Mollymock of Campaign 2 in Critical Role. If you know, you know. And he was very much into tarot cards, so the fact that each chart is based on a tarot cards, I thought that connection was quite cool. But yeah, I am actually really happy with this. I'm actually quite happy with the width and the length, like it fits really nicely as is. I didn't need to do the extra, and it's not that I didn't want to or I didn't like it, but the charts just weren't singing to me, and I really do believe in working on what brings you absolute joy. And not that I was unhappy, but it just, you know, I think there was daisies and things, and you can see the whole chart, and that might be perfect for your style or a friend, and it does make a lovely gift, and it does knit up really quickly because it is quite Moorish colour work. But yeah, not much else to say. I haven't blocked this, so it is just as is. I will block it, and I might. I have a friend that said they quite liked it when they saw me working on it, which is a rarity that I've actually seen someone in real life to knit, like a knitting. So that stuck with me more profoundly than maybe they're just passing, oh, I really like that comment might be, but that might be gifted to that lovely person who won't be watching. But yeah, and then wow, we are really going short and sweet today, and that's okay. Little Audrey is sat exactly opposite where the camera is, just staring. Hey honey. And then this one, so I wanted to knit a second version of my Lockside hat. Maybe it's going to be Lockside tree hat, I don't know. It's a Lockside tree hat. And I think I showed just a little bit of it last time we had a little chat. I haven't given the pom-pom a little bit of a, you know, little trim yet, like one of those grass heads that you used to get, but I haven't done that. But this is my second version, and I don't know, I was really drawn to the colours, and as I started knitting I was like, yeah, this is fine. But now I do really like it. Again, I might I might gift it, I'm not sure, but I think they're really cute together, and Alex and I have both. Alex wore this one and I was wearing this one at the weekend, and it was really quite cute, but I was thinking I might gift this, but we'll see. Like, I am trying to do some gift knitting at the moment because this year is flying by, which I don't know if is a blessing or not really. I think it is a blessing. But this yarn is my own hand dyed. It is a Peruvian Highland base, non-superwash organic wool in the colourway Don't Forget to Love Each Other. Maybe this is a very Critical Role episode. If you haven't seen it, I do highly recommend it, especially if you're interested in storytelling. Even if you don't play Dungeons and Dragons or have an interest in that sort of thing, if you like fantasy and storytelling and generally seeing people being really nice to each other, it's a lovely adventure to go on. And this other colour, the plum, I believe it is plum, by Blacker Yarns, and that is their classic DK base, which is just a non-superwash wool. Yeah, it knits up quite quickly, or at least I found it to. I think it took me 2 evenings while I was away to finish it, so it really was quite a quick little project to whip up. And I have sent this to my lovely tech editor, which means that hopefully soon anyone that is very kind and asked to if they could test it, that is something that is getting ever closer to, which is exciting. It always makes me a bit nervous, but yeah, it will come in 3 sizes with a fairly easy to adjust note and pattern. Oh, do you want to come up? Come on then, honey. She's sat next to us now. Just a little bit out of shot, aren't you? Oh, lovely. Yeah, and then in terms of works in progress that I have that aren't part of my bigger project, which I feel like maybe they'll end up combining and it'll be in the same episode, but just while I'm getting my head a little bit around it. So a while back, I'm actually sat with it now, if I can jump up quickly. See, that's my little kitten Audrey, and this is the shawl that I'm referring to. This shawl was one that I knitted kind of, well, to wear on our lovely wedding day, but I didn't, not because I didn't love it, but I ended up re-knitting my top, which then, well, knitting my top, and it didn't go, it really didn't go. And although I could have wrapped myself in it and for some photos and things, it was just not right, and that's okay. So I did design it with that intention, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a gift, and I've written up the shawl because there are quite a few really lovely knitters, you know, asked, and that makes me really, really excited and quite grateful. But I wanted to knit it again, and I have finally picked some colours and got some yarn and started to cast it on. I really wanted to use Ada's yarn. Ada owns a really lovely naturally dyed yarn company called Tintika, and she does all natural dyeing, and her colourways are really quite astounding for natural dye. However, the current climate, financial living, just, you know, this year, in the end I decided, with the help of a lovely friend, Angie, hello Angie if you're watching, thank you for being you and amazing and helping problem solve all the time, I settled on some Jamieson & Smith yarn, and I'm really quite happy with the colours. Not quite what I anticipated, but I know will go with my wardrobe a lot They are colours that I'm really drawn to at the moment and will just blend with a lot of greys. And these are the colours that I have gone for. And this one will be the thistles, and then the others are just contrast colours. So there are 4 contrast colours, and of course could have done less, but since this is an affordable yarn and I did this many contrast colours to begin with, I'm sticking with it. The whole shawl I won't say yet, because I did get a little bit extra than I needed, I think, just because I really didn't want to run out and not, you know, have the finances to finish it. So I have got a little bit too much potentially, but it should be a really affordable shawl. It will be fantastic for steeking because it's 100% wool and it is Shetland wool, and I don't find anything particularly scratchy, and this I do think is really soft for Shetland wool. And yeah, so I'm quite excited about this one. I haven't got too far, if I'm honest. I have made a start though, and that's the main thing. I am using my lovely stitch markers, and I think I basically use these near enough all the time now, from Nicole of Time Reaver, who is actually, by the time this reaches you, will have released some more videos, including an interview with Christy Glass. She does really nice knitting chats with makers from all around the world. If you're a Spanish speaker, she does both English and Spanish ones, then you get different makers, and I think it's really, really cool. And she's a sweetheart and is doing these gorgeous stitch markers, and I get a lot of joy from using them, not only because Nicole in herself has a really good energy, but I'm sure she picks these little beads for goodness. But yeah, so you can see I've got this far, and it does look a bit funny. I've put it on quite small needles, circumference needles. I find that I get a bit more joy if I'm not magic looping or pushing things around this way. It just sort of slides around. I will not very soon. I will go up a cable very soon, because I don't want them to bunch up too much as I'm working, but I like it to slide around, and comfort to me is really important while we knit. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it so far. It's strange talking about something that I've sort of designed, but I'm getting a lot of joy from making things that my creative space in my brain is creating, as well as knitting from other patterns. And I am knitting from other patterns at the moment, but like I said, I will share very, very soon, and I'm not trying to be coy or anything, but yeah, this does come into it, and I don't normally share or now share anything that I have purchased, really. I tend to buy project by project now, and I'm really enjoying that way of working. I do have, you know, yarn in my possession that doesn't have a project yet, and I think I'm going to do another D-stash, go through it, put yarn to projects, keep aside special yarn. Like I've got some really gorgeous yarn from Steph of Woolen Witch, and some very, very kindly gifted yarn for our wedding. So I'm going to make sure that they're not going anywhere. But I do have some yarn that I picked up at Oslo Strikker Festival, and that is Norwegian mohair, and I love it. But I haven't put it into a project yet. I've got an idea for a project, but I haven't put it in a bag and said, right, this is this. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll hopefully do a D-stash. So I'm just talking out my ideas now, but that will go on Etsy again if I do it, and that will be very soon, because I feel like it's that time of year, I feel like it's not just a spring clean for me, it's like every 3 months there's an aspect in my life that I like to not declutter, like I keep everything, but like to reorganize and pay forward, and you know. Anyway, my little purchase, I don't know the date of this. I don't know that it's really that old, but it might be fairly old. But I picked up some crochet thread. It's just really cool. These are little 20-gram balls, and they don't all match in colour necessarily. I got a little note in there too, and there's 2 different weights. There's a few 50s and a few 20s. I am hoping to do a bit of crochet, or maybe even knitted, but probably crochet lace with this. And this will go into projects further down the line, but I saw it on eBay. I don't normally go onto eBay. It's not even the temptation. I know that it's just a bit of a rabbit hole, and I could probably spend hours and hours and hours browsing things. But this, I opened the app by accident. It was on my recommended. I had a little look, and for a very, 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 very cheap price, really, to me. No, it was. I just kind of didn't want this to go anywhere else. And then I did have a giggle, because if you are a critter, so to speak, it's called Mercer Crochet. And, well, yeah, seemed quite apt. Chained Oblivion. Anyway, yeah, this is just a really cute thing, and quite a special part to my, I don't really like to call it stash, like knitting inventory. Can I call it that instead? Yeah, I just thought I would share it. It's quite nice what you can find. Because of that purchase, I have had quite a few other old yarns and discontinued yarns pop up, and it is slightly tempting, but I do not have the funds. I've got plenty of yarn for projects that I've got coming up. I've got a few ideas of things that I would maybe like to invest in for projects going forward, but they will be specifically for projects, and it's kind of nice. It is nice to have yarn that doesn't really have a purpose, so that should the inspiration take, you've got the opportunity to do it, because sometimes if you don't start straight away, these things don't happen. Like the second version of my shawl here, it took quite a while, and I don't think it was a lot to do with the yarn choice and not quite knowing how I could justify spending so much money on knitting something I've already knitted for myself, but knowing that the original one will be a gift at Christmas, I think I feel a lot better, even more so because I managed to get a yarn that I think works well for the design. It will be something that I'll love and might outlive me, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I think I'm just talking now, but I really am grateful to have someone to sit and chat with. I hope, again, a little bit of inspiration, maybe a little bit to reflect upon. And yeah, I really hope you're doing well. I'm really grateful that you're here with me on this journey, and I hope to see you again very soon. In the meantime, I hope you find some time for knitting, making, or whatever it is you enjoy doing. A little bit of self-care. Don't forget to tell those you love how much you love them. It is a very strange time, and I'm sure any little bit of connection at the moment means a lot more than it once did, even though that shouldn't be the case really, but you understand what I'm saying. So with that, I will hope to see you again very soon.
Baby cow, doo